6, how to play and visualize the D major scale. Okay, let's start now with a visualization. Shush. He wants to get right into the act here. Let's start with a visualization first. So straight away I can see two groups there. We've got group 1 and group 2. The first thing it stands out to me is the black notes is the first black note of each group 1 and 2. Now you can see that we don't the way we visualize it isn't the way we play it. So we start on D when we're playing the scale, but when we're visualizing it, we want to be able to find the notes quickly when we're playing. So by creating different memory associations, we can find our scale much easier. So the first white note of each group, we don't play. And remember, because we're sharpening, we're going around the circle of fifths, and we're sharpening, we don't play the note on the left. So also you note that the key of D has 2 sharp notes. That's another memory association. You also remember that the previous key G had F sharp, right? So by remembering the order, right, that also helps around the circle of fifths. So we gain a new sharp, which was the -7th, and we turn it into a 7th, and that's that C sharp there. The C sharp is just before the D because it's a 7. All major scales have a 7, remember? So it's going to be a semitone to the root of this scale, which the root is D. So that's it for the visualization. So right-hand finger placement. So this right-hand finger placement here works for C, G, D, A, E, and also B, and we're just looking at the D. So the top row is the right hand going up 2 octaves. The bottom row is the right hand coming down 2 octaves. Just follow the arrows from top left to right, then bottom right to left. Okay. And when we're going up, we can read the formula at T1, I2, M3 going upwards. And when coming down, we can read it the other way, P1, R7, M6. Okay. First thing to note is the swing points rising, right? The middle ring, middle swing points rising, which are on the intervals 3, 7, and 3. And the landing points, 3, 7, 3 intervals, is again the middle ring and middle. So let's see how that works. So we get our right hand and we put that thumb, right, T1, on the D, okay? First thing we're going to do is go to the 3rd finger. And now we need to remember that middle swing point. The reason we need to remember that is because we can keep on going, right? So we need to know to stop. Then we swing to our thumb, and then we have to remember our ring after that. Now when we stop on the ring, because we can keep on going, right? But we're going to stop. And we're going to swivel on that. And then we're going to remember our middle again. And we're going to stop. And then we're going to swing again on the middle. Thumb. And just finish up the scale. Coming back, right, we're going to remember the landing points. Middle, right? Then the ring. Then the middle again. And then we're finished. Okay? And I don't want you to go too faster than this. It's a good speed, right? So that's the right hand, okay? So let's do it one more time. And this is how I want you to practice it. Middle, ring, middle, coming back. Middle, ring, middle. Okay, so you can see coming back, right, it goes all the way to the thumb. Then we're going to swing on the thumb. We're going to land on the middle. Comes to the thumb. Now we're going to swing again. We're going to be on the ring, to the thumb. Swing one more time to the back to the middle. All right, F sharp there, which is our 3rd interval. And back. Okay, so that's the right hand. So the left hand, the same applies, going up, top row, coming down the bottom row. Formula again from left to right. So going up, we read at P1, R2. This time, as we rise, we're going to note the middle ring, middle landing points, and coming down it's going to be the swing points. So if you look, let's have a look at that. So we put our pinky on the 1 interval, right, which is the D. We're going to go all the way to the thumb, right? We know we're going to swivel on the thumb, but it's so that's we don't need to remember that, but we need to remember which finger we're going to land on, because we could land on the 4, the 3, we could do a 2, but it's going to be the middle. So we're going to come all the way to the thumb, middle, and then we're going to swivel again, but we don't need to remember that because we're on our thumb. There's nowhere else to go. But we're going to remember where to land. Remember, it was middle ring. We're going to land on that ring. All the way back to the thumb. Now we're going to swivel again and land on the middle. Finish up the scale. Coming back, middle, right, is our swing points. So not the landing points now, it's the swing point. Middle, swing. Ring, swing. Middle, swing. And then just roll back, okay? So I'm going to do it one more time, middle. So it's, so we're going up in our left hand. There's no middle there, right? Our first middle is going to be where we land. Here, middle. Ring. Middle, finish up. Middle. Ring. Middle, finish up. Okay, finger mobility right hand. With this exercise, we're just going to now learn to play the scale 2 octaves just straight up and down. But we're also going to note the middle points and the ring points. And then we're going to also be aware of the numbers too. Okay, so let's just start here. So right hand thumb, middle, ring, middle, and that was the last middle. Middle, ring, middle, going up. All the way down to the thumb, middle, ring, middle, and back, okay? That's all we're doing with that exercise, right? And we're just going to practice. And we're going slowly. We're not trying to commit to muscle memory right yet, okay? Middle. In actual fact, we're trying to break our muscle memory. We're trying to go really slowly to make sure muscle doesn't kick in right yet. You can't help developing muscle memory, right? It just happens, right? And we tend to rely on it, and we stop thinking, right? Now, when we're playing, of course, we don't want to think when we're playing a song all the time. We don't want to think what we're doing. We were just going to get the feel and the emotion, okay? But when you're learning, right, something new for the first time, right, and also as a backup, even if you're experienced, I always use intervals as a backup, right? If I can't remember something on a song, I think, oh, I remember it goes up to the 4th or the 6th. So the intervals become that backup. But with this exercise, so we're going to go slowly. To break your muscle memory, you go really slowly. If you can do it slowly, it means you're relying on your understanding rather than your muscle memory, right? Middle, right, we swing. Ring. Middle, middle, ring, middle. Then we just finish up the scale. Coming back, it's middle, ring, middle again. Middle, ring, middle, and back. So all you're remembering there is middle, ring, middle. And the left is the same, middle, ring, middle, right? But with the left now, we go right to the thumb, right? Can't go any more. Middle, ring, middle. And coming back, it's middle, ring, middle, all the way back. I just did left hand, didn't I? That's the left hand. It's just the same. Okay, we also want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And also not just doing it with the numbers here. I want you also to try 1, 3, 5, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5, 4, 1, 5, 6, 5, 6. We're going to be doing this a bit more on the next one of the other exercises. Okay, but let's move on. Now this is the fun bit, joining the 2 hands together. And most students always have trouble doing this, okay? So we're going to take this very slowly. And we're going to note, the first things we're going to note when we join our two hands is we're going to have a look at the bottom at what we've got here. We've got swing, landing, swing, landing, swing, landing, right? So the first, excuse me, I'm going to blow my nose again. Sorry about that. Okay, we got swing, landing, swing, landing, swing, landing, okay? Also we have right middle, left middle, right ring, right middle, left middle. Now that's a bit awkward to remember and say, left mid, right middle, left middle, ring, left ring. Right, that's a little bit awkward. So we have to get used to being able to say that, but the way we're going to do it is we're going to go, we're going to note first to get more understanding. Can you see how it's middle, ring, middle, right? So we're getting more understanding about what's happening here with our left and right hands, right? So we have a middle, right? Which is going to be right and left, middle, ring, middle. Then it's just right, left, right, left. Now that right, left is important because that's where we're going to be switching our focus when we go from our right hand to the left hand. We're going to be concentrating on the right hand first, and it's going to be a middle swing point. Then we're going to be concentrating on the left, and it's going to be a middle landing, right? And then we go back to the right, and it's going to be a right ring, okay? And then it's going to be a left ring, okay? And then it's going to be a right middle and left middle. Okay, so let's start now slowly. So we're going to just put our thumb on the together, right? Now we're going to note with the left hand we go to the thumb, right? Okay, so our first concentration is going to be on the right hand. That's middle swing point, right? Right middle, and it's a swing, right? There, see that? So swing. And then we're going to go all the way to the ring there, and we're going to swing again. So, excuse me. Now, see how we reached our thumb on the left? Now it's that swing, so we're on the left middle landing. Okay? So, and we're going this slow on purpose, right? We don't want to, it doesn't matter that we're clumsy, right? We're going slow because we're learning how to do this, right? With understanding, right? We're trying to understand what's happening with our fingers, right? So then we go ring on the right, so we're on right ring. See there's a swing now on the right, and we land on our thumb. And we consider that thumb as a rest point, like I'll have a rest here. And then there's a left ring comes in, right? So, and then there's a right middle, right? Then there's a left middle, and then we finish. All right, we're going to do that again going up, and then we're going to do the coming back. When we're coming back, we're reading from right to left. Left middle, right middle, left ring, left middle, right middle, okay? See how that's awkward to say together? So we break that up. So it's left, right. When we're going up, it's right, left. Middle, ring, middle. That's the same, okay? Right, that's coming down, but we're going to just do this again, right? So, again, we're going to look to the left, right. First swing point, right? Middle. Left, middle, right? Which is a landing. Then straight away, I want you to note, as soon as we land, it's straight away we got the right ring. So they're coming very close, aren't they? So we've landed on the left hand on the 7 there, the middle, and straight away we have a ring. Then we have a landing, and then we have a ring again on the left hand, right? There's the ring, right? So we're doing sort of come there, we're landing, right ring, right? Left ring, thumb, right ring, thumb, left ring, and we keep on going. Now then we have up here the right hand, a middle, straight away. And then we go to the left thumb, and then a left middle to the end. Now we're coming back. Right, we have the right hand's going to go right to the thumb, right? But the left is going to swing to the middle, right? Left middle, right middle landing. Now on the ring, left ring, swing, rest point, right ring, left middle, right middle. Okay, now that's what you need to do slowly. Right, and being able to do that smooth. and say that, okay? And then we're going to move on now. Now, both hands, muscle memory. What we're going to do is we're going to take it slowly too, right? So we're going to just go, we're going to note the first hand goes right up to the 5, right? And the first swing is here, so. And then we're just going to come back, so just go to that 5. And we're just, in our head, we know that swivel point there, okay? Then we're going to go left, middle, right? Remember that? And we're just going to add some more. Ring, right ring, thumb, left thing, right? Right, and we're going to do this. So we're building our muscle memory in little chunks here, right? Now, because we've got to make sure that we get our fingers correct. And if you can make it all the way up, that's fine, okay? But just if you get stuck, right? Get stuck. Try to remember where you're at, where you get stuck. So you can almost consider this a halfway point, 2 fingers. Usually, a lot of the times you'll get stuck here. What do I do? Which way do I go? But if you remember, there's a ring on either side of the thumb, right? Okay. So if you're swinging, you're going up still, you're going to be that left ring. You're going down, it's going to be the right ring. So that's another memory point you can associate with. 2 thumbs, rest point. Right ring going up, left ring going down. Right ring going up, left going down. And then you can go. And get that in your muscle memory. Right, so when we're coming down, right here, we've got a note now, the left middle comes straight away. So after the right ring, the left middle straight away, another memory association. Until you can get it, until it gets into your muscle memory, basically. And once it's in your muscle memory, right, you don't need to say all that, right? And you'll forget it too, because then you'll be just relying on muscle memory. Look, I can play the scale really nicely with muscle memory, right? And that's fantastic, right? But then, this is stuffed up with talking and playing. So, all right, so once you learn something with muscle memory, that's all you're learning with muscle memory. The purpose of doing this thinking and doing these exercises is to get up to the point where we're playing muscle memory. But there's also a lot of other advantages as we continue these exercises. You'll see what I mean. So first exercise of ear training we're going to do is the harmonisation training. So what we're doing here is we're just listening to the scale and the intervals, 1, 2, 3, 4, while we're holding down the C note. Right? So we're harmonising to a C, it could be like a chord, we're playing a chord down here. It's almost the start of songs now. Right? So we're playing the scale. And this will also help you remember the scale too. And also I want you to do here as well is you don't no longer have to play it straight. And you can add a little bit of rhythm to have some fun. We're going to do a bit more in the melody training on the last few exercises. So we'll lead up to that. Right. Once you go through all these exercises, you can practice any one of the exercises. If you like melody training, practice your melody training. Because exercises just going straight up and down is boring. Right? It is, it's boring. I admit it. So that's why I'm trying to make it a bit more interesting for you when you learn scales. But it is exciting getting something right, when you get it right. So that was all we were doing there. We're just listening and we're going up. And we're going to go up 2 octaves on that. Now, tonality training, all that is we're hearing, we're getting our ear familiar with the key, right? So we're hearing, and we want to hear all the notes. So what we're going to do is just hold down the pedal on our right hand. Right? So when a singer sings, they sing in a particular key. In their brain, they get a tonality reference. And we use this as our reference. Now, it develops naturally. You don't have to do a lot of this training because when you're learning songs, you automatically develop this, right? And it's actually good when you're trying to find chords within a key. This is a good exercise when you're trying to listen to find chords. But we don't have to do that straight away. We're going to be, with the Akousunesis method, we're going to concentrating on hearing the melody first, and then hearing a chord inside a key by ear just naturally comes anyway, right, down the track. We don't have to spend too much time trying to do that, right? It's a nice skill to have, but when you're in, say, a band situation, you're not going to be guessing what everyone's doing or working it out. You need to know what people are doing, so you really need to have chords in front of you. Unless you're just jamming and having fun, you know, it's different altogether. Anyway, so that's tonality training. So let's go on. Interval recognition. So now we're listening for the interval, and this is where we can also say the intervals, right? So we've got the one. The one's not an interval, it's just a note. The interval there is the octave, so we can think of it as an octave. So the first interval in a progression, major scale, is the 2, okay? Now what we're doing here is we're not just holding that now and doing this, we're actually going to hit it together, so we can hear that together, right? So we're going to hear what a 2 sounds like. Note that a 5, for instance, is nice and smooth. A 6, a bit more dissonant. So a lot of these dissonant notes want to resolve to, say, a 5. Sometimes they can stay on the 6 and get ready to move up, or, you know, like go to the 7. So that's what we're doing here. And all I also want you to go is 1, 3, 2, just switch it up now. 4, 2, 3, 5. But say the numbers in your head because you still need to listen to the interval too. So you just, in your head, you're going, you know, 5. So you're being aware of the intervals you're pressing. Now, Western major scales are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? We're not going out of key. We're not going -3. You can hear it when it's coming out of key. If I do that tonality, it really shows up, doesn't it? When you get used to that key, and then you hear that and go, oh, that's out of key. That's actually now a melodic minor, D melodic minor. Okay, finally we're at melody training, and this is where we can really learn the scale and have a bit of fun with it. So the first thing, in order to learn the scale and how to play it, we're going to put some constraints on our melody training. So, and what a constraint does, it helps us to focus on what we're trying to learn, and it reduces the amount of options. When you have too many options, you're diluting what you're learning, and it's not as effective. When you focus on one particular thing, you can learn it easier and quicker and get more of a deep understanding, and that's what constraints do for us. So a constraint will play a melodic progression. So here are the constraints for this exercise. We're going to play a melodic progression using only notes in the key, right? You can't skip notes, okay? You can't just jump like... You have to rise up the scale, okay? You may play the same note, but you can play the same note twice, so you can go... Okay? You must eventually reach the 2 octaves, so we want to... right up the top. The correct finger allocations must be used. So we can't just jump to the 5 here, although it's not, we might want to. We just, with this exercise, we're just going to be doing... So we're practicing our hand movements as well. And you can use whatever melodic rhythm you want, and you can also bring that bass note in there, just the C, the D, sorry. Now we haven't got this, I haven't got an exercise here, which I'll probably add in the next one. We're going to be do them together as well. So I'll throw that in the next video, right? And you can always go back and practice. But it's always, doing it together is much harder, right? Because you know you've got both hands and you've got the finger positions. But it's a good way to remember both your hands placements. So when we're doing it together here, right, where we're remembering that it's swinging on the middle over here, and this is always going to the thumb. So, but before we can do that middle together, a lot of the times when you're playing the song, you're not doing that, right? You're playing a chord on the left hand, and you're going with the right hand. So we can just do that for now, and if you feel keen, you can do that as well, right? And that will help develop left hand mobility as well. So that's that first constraint, and we want to move right up, right? The ring, middle, ring, 7, 6, 5, it's coming to the 5, 6, 5. We're going to eventually know all the intervals and find them very quickly, right? Very quickly. And eventually you'll just, on all your chords, you'll know where all the intervals are, you know that's a fifth, a sixth, right? There's the fourth, okay? Fourth, fourth. And I'm going to show you quick ways to find the fourths and fifths. I can't wait to get to that video, but it's going to be a few videos because we've got to go through all the keys. Right, let's get to the next exercise. So all we're doing here is, again, melody training. We're just loosening one of the constraints. We're just free to skip notes with this one. So it's all the same as the previous one, same constraints, but we're just skipping notes. So now you can just... Now on the left hand too, if you want to add that third in, feel free to add the 5 in. That's called a chord, and we haven't even talked about chords, but there's a million videos on chords and we're going to get there. So... A lot of these lessons you can always come back and re-look at them, and particularly the intervals one, right? So if you're not sure of something, that intervals one, which is quite tricky, so it's not going to get a lot of views on the early stage of my YouTube because it probably goes beyond people's heads who are just learning out. But you've got to come back to it. So you go through and come back. I introduce it very early on in the book. A lot of the stuff in my book is almost like a reference where you can come back and it makes more sense the second time you read it. A lot of music has a lot of relationships, right? And they all start to click in and make sense the more you learn. Things start to make more sense. And the time you get to the end of the mode section, you're going to really understand a lot of these relationships, and you'll be able to use a lot of the skills to write your own music and make your music interesting, okay? All right, so all this exercise is we can skip notes, but we still must use the same notes fingering, right? So we can't skip right up here, use the 5, because we've got to go. So we're still using the same fingering on this exercise. Song training now, we really loosen up the constraints. The only constraint we have now is we're just going to be playing notes in the key. So our left hand can play anything we want. Now we want to hear intervals too, and so if we like that interval, we'll accentuate it by pressing the note and listening for it. There's our second. And we also want to be aware of the intervals. So there's a third, the fourth, fifth, But we can do anything with our hands. And we can skip notes, right? So we're totally free here. So we're learning basically how to write songs. And we're listening. And we're going to learn, as we go on, we're going to have lessons on songs, writing songs and all sorts of interesting stuff on this channel. You'll learn tricks that pop people use to write songs, or classical people, like the doubling rising, used a lot in pop songs, all sorts of tricks. And in my book, in part B of my book, which it's not available yet, I'm collecting all these tricks and putting them together and showing you what other people do in their songs. So I want to play chords and other things too, but this is an exercise for you. And there's a fourth. We're listening for the fourth and the fifth. But all we're doing on the left is just playing that D, right? Because we want to also do a few things, harmonising, tracking. So we're doing everything together here. Sometimes we're listening for the interval, we're listening for the harmony. If we hold the foot down, we're not going to do that often because it just sounds awful when you're holding your foot down, right? And the tonality is just going to come anyway naturally. So there's no rule, But we do hold our foot down when we're playing songs. We use a pedal a lot. So you can get used to doing that too. All right, so just have fun with that exercise. All right, we're finally at questions and answers. Why are many pieces of music written in minor keys? Pete, thanks for that question. Well, minor keys are beautiful because the minor key is so beautiful, yeah. The Akousunesis Method, the minor key signature is the alien mode, as I've mentioned, in the Western major scale. Now, I'm not sure why it got promoted as a key. I mean, it's been considered as another key signature. I've never heard any good explanations explaining why we have another key. There's 12 notes in music, so there's 12 major key signatures. Now, you can say, oh, well, we're going to just call this mode, right, another 12 keys. So it's got promoted. But what are we talking about? The natural? Are we going to now add the harmonic? Is that the melodic? Is the harmonic minor another one? Why don't we have another 12, What about the Dorian mode? Are we going to have another 12? So the whole concept of the Akousunesis method is to simplify in your mind music. And I know a lot of people want things complicated. But it's easier to think of the key, an A minor key, as just a mode. Because the reason is because I know the Western major scale, I automatically know all the modes. Because I'm just pressing the same notes, right? In the key of C, it just happens to be the white notes, right? I know all the modes. So why aren't all these keys? We could have a million keys. So there's 12 notes. In my system, there's 12 keys and that's it, okay? And it doesn't really matter anyway what's in a name. So that's the Aeolian mode. Now, it is a beautiful mode. The natural and the harmonic is very popular, right? You're also going to learn a lot of things on how to get from one mode, one key, to another key, and to another mode. For example, very quickly here, if we've got let's have a look here. Let's see. So we know that the mode of I'm going to keep on going. Why not? Okay, we got A minor. right, in the key of C. The natural is just this, okay? And then let's have a look at the harmonic. We've risen the 7th, right? And let's look at the melodic. We've risen the 6th and the 7th, right? Now, if we actually visualize what we're doing here, this is almost the key of A. It's almost the same notes. So we can derive a rule from this. If you take the first mode of a scale, which is just the Western major scale, we call that the Ionian, right? That's called the Ionian. If we take a mode, when we get to mode sections, you're going to see we're going to have modes and operations. So if we take a mode and apply an operation, we can have another key. I call that modal equivalent. So for instance, Ionian flat 3 is equivalent to the melodic minor key. It's the same, okay? So if I take the C, Ionian, and flatten the 3rd, I now have C melodic minor. And that works with any key. There's the D. If I flatten the 3rd, I got D melodic minor. So it's very easy to remember. So to work out any melodic minor key, it's very easy because it's Ionian flat 3. If you can remember Ionian flat 3, and you know all your key signatures, right? So you just know the Ionian of all your keys. So 12 Ionians, which are just know your scales. You know every single mode, right? Because if I'm playing, say, the Mixolydian, right? So the 5th is called the Mixolydian on the key of C, for instance, right? I know just to press the white notes because I know the key, and I'm just going from G to G, right? So that's, and which is, and there's the, we're going to get into chords too, but there's the chord for that key, for that mode, okay? G7. So, and it applies with any key. So anyway, I've gone on too much about that. You're going to learn. We're going to revisit all this information in future lessons. If you buy my book and start reading, so it's 12 Australian dollars. It's for the amount of information in there. It's cheap, right? But it's not the money. It's you willing to actually do the work. So if you're prepared to do the work. Next lesson, lesson 7. All right, we're just going to continue on, and we're going to do the A in the next lesson. Okay, we're going to do it both hands. All right, so that's it, and I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye. Oh, sorry. Say bye. See you later. You're very quiet in this lesson today. Yeah, what was the problem? Oh, you're not feeling very well. Oh, maybe you're coming down with a cold. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay. Well, you can just sit there. Okay. Oh, hello. Yeah, hi. Just having a conversation. All right. See you next time. Bye.